Good morning. Here we go with the weekly weather summary. I'm hoping to give you guys a little information, show you how to use some of these charts so that you can make some flight planning decisions for yourself over the next few days. So I'm on the Crestline Soaring webpage. These are linked in your new student package, or you can just head over to the website and check it out. Here's the real-time data showing that it's kind of weak south at the moment. If we scroll down to the Marshall Ridge, we can see that it's going to be, kind of weak all day, and then it spikes at 4 p.m. We got something going on. But, looking at the wind grams, it's not really that consistent with that forecast. We show early morning that it's kind of fogged in or cloudy. And then we have these snowflakes, a lower layer freeze point. And then we're moving down to Andy Jackson. We can see that we have a spike in activity around 4 p.m., and then, same thing on the national weather forecast. So that's not the complete picture. Today we know we have rain, so we're going to hop over to windy. And we can see at 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. we have this layer, this bank that's going on over the mountain ranges. And if we look at the wind, we select for wind instead of rain, what we can see is that we have a prevailing north coming off the high desert, and then we have a very weak south that's pulling in that maritime air mass. And where the two are meeting, that's why we're getting precipitation along those ranges. They're converging right at the mountains. And what's cool is we can scroll out, and what we were talking about yesterday is that if we have an undulation in the jet stream, it typically is pulling down some of that weather from the colder polar region. And so we have a huge storm developing offshore right here, very fast wind speed. And then we also have this weaker turn. This is probably where the jet stream is making its undulation right off the Aleutian chain. And if we follow it down a little more, we can see that it's drawing off this high pressure where it's barely rotating clockwise. And we usually have a standing high pressure there that's stabilizing the weather on the west coast. But in this case, it's being pulled into these lower pressure centers that are to the north and to the west. And so it doesn't give it very much energy as it moves into our region. So as it moves down the coast, we can see that it's barely drawing into this area where we like to fly. And the reason that it's not able to go in very much is because we have this north, this prevailing north that's meeting up and converging along the mountain ranges. And that is why we're getting precipitation and heavy snowfall, because it's kind of lifting up all of that maritime air mass coming in with the moisture, and then it's resisting it to some degree. So it's a bit of a front going on right over the mountains today. We can look at the bottom link on this Crestline Soaring page, the SoCal skew-t. And what this is showing, first of all, we have to select for 4 p.m., which I've done already up here. And here's our graph. Immediately we can see we have this layer of clouds and precipitation. And if we scroll over, we can see that the pink dashed line, that's going to be the parcel line. If we have any lifting air mass that's starting with the ground temperature, it's going to be able to move upward. That's instability. That's showing that it's going to be warmer than the actual ambient temperature line, which is the red one. But if we see also this blue line touching the temperature line, what that is saying is that we have full saturation of the air mass. And so the dew point being, that indication is saying that between these two altitudes where they're touching, that is going to be clouds and, fully saturated air. So we'll scroll over here to the wind barbs, and we can see that very weak south on the southwest on the ground layer. And then as you move up to the cloud bank, we can see that prevailing north. And it's getting quite strong. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip back over to the wind grams and the National Weather Service points, and we're going to see what's happening on the next few days. So here's Marshall today, and we have this prevailing north up top. So what's going to happen? Well, the weather comes from the top down in our area especially. So we're going to cruise over to the next day, and this is Wednesday, and we can see a ton of instability indicated by the orange, and it's going off the chart, so that's probably going to be, really big or, rain and things like that. And we can see quite strong wind speed. We're even having some pennants that's 50 knots or greater, and that's like, gale force stuff right there. So that's tomorrow, definitely not a fly day. And then here's Thursday. we have rather the same thing in the morning. We have about 40 knots, and then we have a weakening north, and then it really doesn't start to pan out till the end of the day. But with so much activity, I wouldn't make any flight planning decisions based on that forecast for Thursday. But there is good news. If we scroll over here to the National Weather Forecast Service, we can see that tomorrow's strong north, just like we saw. Day after, kind of slopping all over the place. Wouldn't want to make any decisions to fly on that day, really, because we don't see continuity in terms of time and altitude, right? That's a switch day for us for sure. But Thursday or Friday, this is Friday, right? We have a weak north, and then it starts to come from the south and pick up a little strength. And it's staying that way throughout the rest of the day and even into night. So that's the consistency in terms of time. And if we flip over to Saturday, now we're getting a general south all day, and it's within the wind speed that would be acceptable for paragliding. So this is, shaping up to be a crappy week, but on Friday and Saturday, looking like it might be awesome flying conditions. So hopefully this helps you guys, make sense out of the data. And also, if you want to come out for the weekend, to lie to your boss and your family or whatever you have to do to make that happen, because the next few days probably not going to be that great, but looking like it could be really good on Friday and Saturday.